Welcome to the Online Digital Marketing Podcast. We'll be discussing marketing strategies, trends, and tips that will help your business succeed in the digital age. Every episode, we'll be interviewing industry professionals and providing valuable insights on how to leverage digital tools for maximum engagement and ROI. Don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date on the latest trends in online marketing.
Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we dig into a whole stack of sources, could be articles, maybe some research, even our own notes, and we pull out the really crucial insights just for you. Today, we're diving into something pretty much every professional bumps up against in this, super connected world we live in. How do you actually stand out? How do you earn real trust when everyone's attention is split a million ways? Have you ever stopped to think why some pros just feel like they're always there right when you need them? Like, boom, perfect solution. While others, maybe just as smart, feel kind of like a distant memory. It's like they become the obvious choice, automatically right, exactly when you hit that problem they solve. Well, that's what we're unpacking today. We want to figure out what it really takes to be that obvious choice. And we'll do that by looking at how professional systems connect with this critical moment called the buyer's tipping point. To help us figure this out, we've got some great material. We're drawing from excerpts on building credibility through professional systems, and also this really insightful guide called Hook to Booked, the 4-stage experience that turns strangers into qualified, ready-to-buy clients. So yeah, get ready. This might just change how you think about building your presence.
It's really fascinating, isn't it? How these sources connect the very practical side of things, building actual systems, with something deeply psychological. That moment, someone just decides, okay, I'm buying. Because let's face it, we're swimming in information overload. Just knowing stuff, even having the best service, it's just not enough anymore, not by a long shot. The real game changer now is being consistently present, being seen as trustworthy, and crucially, being top of mind, right when that need, that pain point, hits its peak. So this deep dive, it's about bridging that gap. How do you go from just offering something great to being the automatic go-to person?
Okay, let's start there then. This idea that credibility isn't just magic, it's tied directly to reliability.
Yeah.
And that reliability, it comes from having solid professional systems in place. Our sources really hammer this home. Your personal brand is only as strong as the systems holding it up. It's not just about being brilliant, it's about how you consistently show up. So if reliability is the key, what do these professional systems actually look like on the ground? Because systems can sound a bit abstract,
That's a fair point. It can sound mechanical. But really, the sources break it down into tangible actions. The first big one, consistent presence and engagement. Professionals, the ones who really get it, understand you have to consistently show up where your potential clients are, mentally, digitally, And this isn't just like random posts when you feel like it. It means regularly putting out genuinely helpful, valuable stuff, content that actually solves small problems or answers questions they might have. You just can't post on social media only when you remember, right? Or shoot off an email only when you've got something to sell.
Yeah.
That inconsistency, that self-serving timing, it just doesn't build trust anymore. The aim is to continuously build that trust reservoir and just stay present in their mind consistently.
Okay, but here's the tricky part, isn't it? How do you provide valuable content without just adding to all the noise that's already out there? Everyone's shouting online.
Exactly. And the sources suggest the answer isn't volume, it's genuine help. Focusing on solving specific micro problems, answering those unspoken questions your audience wrestles with, maybe even clarifying their struggles better than they can articulate themselves. So instead of, say, a generic save for retirement post if you're a financial advisor,
Right.
it might be something much sharper, like 3 red flags. Your current 401k might be underperforming. See the difference?
Yeah, that hits differently. It's specific, actionable.
Precisely. It provides immediate, tangible value. It positions you not just as a vendor, but as a reliable resource they can actually count on for insights, not just pitches. You become part of their trusted information landscape.
Okay, so less broadcasting, more targeted problem solving, being a steady signal, not just more static. Got it. What's the next pillar for these systems?
The second piece is following proven processes. The pros don't just make it up as they go along. They have established ways of doing things. The sources call it a design-based approach.
Yeah.
And that's key because it means they can deliver predictable results time after time.
A recipe. Exactly like a recipe. Think of a top chef. You go to that restaurant, you order that signature dish, you know it's going to be perfect because they follow the process every single time.
Or like blueprints for a builder.
Perfect analogy. Blueprints guarantee a solid, predictable outcome. It removes the guesswork, and that predictability builds massive confidence. In a service business, this could be, say, a standardized onboarding process. So every new client feels welcomed, informed, valued the same way. Or maybe it's a documented content creation system, ensuring consistent quality and timing. Or even a repeatable way you run strategy sessions so nothing crucial gets missed.
So it's about systematizing the excellence, taking the variability out of the client experience.
You got it. When clients know what to expect, and that expectation is consistently met with high-quality, reliable delivery, well, that skyrockets your credibility. It makes choosing you feel less risky.
That makes total sense, and it loops right back to that consistency point we started with. Predictable results feel reliable. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which leads smoothly into the third component, reliability and consistent communication. The sources are really clear. Credibility grows from reliability. And this isn't just theory. It plays out in tangible actions prospects see every day. They need to be able to count on you for that valuable content, yes, but also for consistent communication and, crucially, professional follow-through.
Meaning, you do what you say you're going to do.
Exactly. On time. Every time. If you promise a certain service level, you deliver it. If you say you'll send that newsletter weekly, it lands in their inbox weekly. If you set an expectation for response times, you meet it. Think about how easily trust can be chipped away by small inconsistencies. A missed email reply here, a slightly late resource there.
Yeah, those little things add up.
They really do. They might seem minor, but they break that pattern of reliability. It signals that maybe you're not quite as dependable as they thought. So connecting this to the bigger picture, it's not just about the quality of your final output. It's about setting and meeting an expectation of unwavering consistency, like clockwork. Your audience learns to depend on you as this steady, reliable presence. And that builds this deep, often subconscious well of trust.
Making sure your actions match your words consistently, and your presence matches their expectations. It's the accumulation of those small, reliable actions.
Precisely. Which brings us to the final point here, and it's a really important contrast.
Yeah.
The systematic approach versus hustle and hope. Our sources draw a really sharp line in the sand here. Professionals operate with systems deliberately designed. Amateurs, they tend to rely on hustle and hope.
What does that look like, the hustle and hope approach?
It means they might be incredibly talented, maybe really passionate, super hardworking even, but their efforts are, well, sporadic, reactive. They post when they remember. They follow up when they suddenly have a gap or realize, oh no, pipeline's empty.
Been there.
We all have. But the key insight is that this sporadic posting, this inconsistent follow-up, it doesn't just fail to build trust, it actively erodes it.
Why erode? Seems harsh.
Because it signals to the prospect that maybe they aren't a priority. Or worse, that you only show up when you need something, not when they might need help or insight. It creates this subtle impression of unreliability.
Ah, I see. If you're inconsistent before they hire you.
Why would they expect consistency after?
Exactly.
They can't rely on you to be there when it truly counts. And when someone's facing a big problem, reliability is everything. So the ultimate outcome, according to the sources, is clear. When that ideal client finally hits their tipping point and is ready to decide, who do they choose?
The reliable one.
Overwhelmingly. They choose the professional who has consistently shown up, consistently added value, consistently demonstrated reliability. They choose the lowest perceived risk, the most obvious, dependable choice.
Okay, that paints a really clear picture. These systems are like the invisible framework supporting that perception of reliability. It's not just being good, it's being consistently good and consistently visible, building that relationship long before the sale, which actually leads perfectly into the next big idea. Because if these systems are building the trust foundation, how much does that matter if we miss the exact moment someone's ready to act? The sources insist timing is everything.
Yes, this is where it gets really critical.
Right. We all want to be that obvious choice. But timing it perfectly, that seems like the million-dollar question. Our sources introduce this powerful concept, the buyer's tipping point. And the principle is stated so simply, but wow, it hits hard. People buy when their pain peaks, from whoever is top of mind and trusted.
That sentence really packs a punch.
Doesn't it? Because think about the implications. It doesn't matter if your solution is objectively the best. Doesn't matter if you're cheaper, faster, more qualified on paper. If you're not the one they think of, the one they trust, in that specific moment when their pain becomes unbearable and they have to act, you lose. Someone else gets the business. even if you were objectively the better fit.
Ouch. That's a humbling thought for anyone who thinks just having the best product is enough.
Totally humbling. It really forces you to rethink the whole game.
And to really feel the weight of that shift, it helps to look back, like our sources do, at how drastically the whole landscape of attention has changed. They use this incredible example, the death of captive audiences. Picture this, July 20th, 1969, 10:56 p.m. Eastern Time. Neil Armstrong steps onto the moon.
Iconic moment.
Absolutely. And get this, 106 million Americans, almost 60% of the entire U.S. population back then, watched it live, simultaneously.
Wow, 60% watching the same thing at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah. The sources call it the last time an entire generation would share the same experience simultaneously. Think about that. Back then, reaching people was, relatively speaking, simple. You had 3 TV networks, ABC, NBC, CBS. That was basically it.
No cable clutter, no internet distractions.
None of it. So if you wanted to advertise, you bought a 30-second spot on, say, The Ed Sullivan Show, and bam, 60 million people saw your ad. You could literally force yourself to be top of mind through sheer media reach.
It's almost impossible to imagine that kind of shared focus today.
It really is, that singular shared attention. It's gone. Which brings us to today's attention battlefield. Fast forward to now. The numbers are just staggering. The average person apparently sees over 5,000 ads a day.
5,000?
Yeah. And we supposedly consume something like 34 gigabytes of information daily. Enough data to crash an old 90s laptop over and over.
That's insane.
And it feels like we're being pulled in, what did the source say, 847 different directions every waking moment. Maybe a slight exaggeration.
Feels about right some days.
Doesn't it? The point is, the conclusion is unavoidable. The captive audience is dead, gone. And the old way of just shouting your message louder, it died right along with it. You can't just buy your way to top of mind anymore.
It's a whisper in a hurricane, like you said earlier. Okay, so if we can't force our way in, how do we become top of mind and trusted for that critical buyer's tipping point?
Well, the sources use a story that really brings this principle home. It's called the Tony Robbins moment.
Yes, I remember reading this. It's powerful.
Isn't it? So picture a huge Tony Robbins event, like 8,000 people. He spots this woman in the third row, just weeping. He calls her out. "What's going on?" he asks. And she just spills it out, sobbing. "I just got served divorce papers. I lost my job last week. I feel completely broken." Just raw pain.
The whole room must have just frozen.
Totally silent, gripped. Tony connects with her, that intense compassion he has. Then he asks this really simple but crucial question. "Have you heard of me before today?"
And she had, right? For years.
Exactly. She says, "Yes, I've read your books, listened to your podcast, watched your videos for years." And then comes the million-dollar question, the one that gets right to the core of the tipping point.
Gwen.
Bingo. Why are you here now? Why didn't you act before? What's different about today?
And her answer, gut-wrenching.
Absolutely unforgettable. She looks up and just says, "Because today I couldn't take the pain anymore. I finally had to do something about it."
Wow.
And the sources say, in that moment, 7,999 other people in that arena just nodded. Not because they had the exact same story, but because they all recognized that feeling, that breaking point.
That moment where the pain just becomes unbearable.
Precisely. They'd all felt that way about their own struggles. It perfectly illustrates this universal law of pain points. It wasn't logic or persuasion that got her there. It was timing. Her pain peaked.
And Tony Robbins was the trusted name that was top of mind when it peaked because he'd been consistently present in her world already.
You nailed it. Because she already trusted him from years of consuming his valuable content. When the tipping point hit, he was the obvious choice. The action followed the trust that was already built.
That story really lands the concept. It wasn't about convincing her she had a problem.
Not at all. She knew. It was about the pain hitting an escape velocity, basically. Which leads us to think about the different types of pain points businesses deal with. The sources call this the emergency room versus life insurance problem.
Okay, explain that distinction.
Well, some businesses, relatively speaking, have it easier. Their client's pain is like that ER visit. It's obvious, acute, immediate.
Like the tow truck example you mentioned.
Exactly. Car breaks down, 11 p.m., pouring rain on the highway. You're not leisurely comparing 5 tow truck companies' Yelp reviews, right?
No way. You're calling the first number you find that looks legit.
Right. The pain is undeniable, requires urgent action. No slow burn, just immediate need. They grab the first trusted hand.
Okay, so that's the ER pain. What's the life insurance side?
That's for businesses where the pain isn't immediately obvious. Or maybe it builds slowly, almost invisibly, like, well, life insurance. Or maybe high-end dog training or complex consulting services.
Things you know you should probably do, but there's no immediate crisis pushing you.
Precisely. Prospects might be, as the source puts it, bleeding internally for months. They feel some discomfort, some inefficiency, maybe a low-level anxiety, but it hasn't hit that critical mass, that tipping point where they feel they have to act now.
So for those kinds of businesses, what's the job then?
The job becomes helping them recognize their own tipping point, gently and ideally, before it becomes a full-blown crisis.
But how? Without sounding pushy or like diagnosing them?
Crucial point. The source's stress. This is not manipulation. It's not about manufacturing pain or using fear tactics. It's about clarifying their problem better than they can articulate it themselves. It means you understand their world so deeply.
That you can put words to their unspoken frustrations.
Exactly. You mirror back their situation with such insight and precision that they have that aha moment.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that is what's happening. And it's actually worse than I admitted to myself. It is time to fix this.
So it's about empathy and deep understanding, leading them to their own realization.
Yes. And it raises that important question again. How do you do that without making them feel judged or lectured? It's about walking alongside them, understanding their journey, and offering clarity. And the sources hint that this ability to clarify, to be that helpful guide, is part of a systematic approach to staying top of mind, something called the help, within that hook-to-book-to process. It reinforces how vital that sustained, empathetic presence is.
That's a really nuanced approach. It's less about selling and more about illuminating the path for them. But practically, for a business owner watching their bottom line, how do they justify spending time on this long game of presence and empathy? The ROI isn't always immediate or obvious.
That's the million-dollar question for sure, and a totally valid concern. Direct ROI attribution for, say, one blog post or one helpful comment can be tough. But the sources imply you're building return on attention. Think of it like filling a reservoir drop by drop. Each helpful interaction, each piece of valuable content adds a little water.
Oh, okay.
You don't see the impact of one single drop, but over time, that reservoir fills up. Then, when the client's pain peaks, when they're desperately thirsty, where do they turn?
To the full reservoir, not the empty one.
Exactly. The ROI gets realized at the tipping point.
Yeah.
The sale happens faster, with less friction, less price sensitivity often, because the trust is already baked in. You've essentially eliminated the getting to know you phase when they're most ready to buy. It reduces your cost per acquisition in the long run.
That makes a lot of sense. You're preloading the trust so the decision is easier when the time comes. So, okay, systems build credibility. People buy at their pain's peak from who they trust. Now let's bring it home. How do we actually navigate this modern attention battlefield and earn our spot?
Right, tying it all together.
Because the core challenge is just so stark, isn't it? Back in '69, you could basically buy attention. Flood the 3 channels. People saw it. Today, forget it. Attention can't be bought. It absolutely must be earned.
That's the fundamental shift.
Think about it, even with paid ads. You still have to earn the click. You have to stop the scroll. You're fighting not just other ads, but cat videos, friend updates, news alerts, everything. And the platforms themselves, the algorithms, they only reward stuff that keeps people engaged. If your content, even paid content, is boring or irrelevant, poof, it disappears no matter how much you pay. You listening right now, you live this. Infinite options, zero patience. We're all constantly marketed to searching, scrolling, distracted. Just being good isn't enough anymore.
Which leads us to this really fundamental, almost liberating truth that the successful businesses today just get. You can't choose when your prospect is ready to buy, but you can choose whether you're there when they are.
Say that again, that's powerful.
You can't choose when your prospect is ready to buy, but you can choose whether you're there when they are. It flips the script, doesn't it?
It really does. Takes the pressure off trying to force the timing.
Exactly. And it clarifies that this isn't about being pushy or aggressive. It's the opposite. It's about being consistently present in their world, not just their inbox, but their mental space. It's about consistently showing up with that helpful, valuable content we talked about.
Yeah.
Stuff that subtly, day by day, positions you as the trusted expert, the helpful guide. So then, when their pain does finally peak, when they hit that wall, like the woman in the Tony Robbins story, who are you?
You're not some random stranger trying to sell them something cold.
Precisely. You're not someone they need to vet from scratch while they're already stressed out. Because you've been there, consistently delivering value, educating them, being reliable. You become the obvious choice.
The path of least resistance? Because the trust is already there.
Exactly. the decision becomes almost automatic. So thinking bigger picture, every blog post, every social media tip, every email, every interaction, it's all an opportunity.
An opportunity to build that presence, nurture that trust.
Long before they're even thinking about buying. It's definitely a long game. But the payoff, that obvious choice status, is huge.
And that really reframes marketing, doesn't it? Less about hunting, more about cultivating. Making yourself the person they naturally turn to when the time comes.
That's a great way to put it.
Which leads us right into our final piece here, going pro the mindset and what it means for your business. Because the sources draw this really clear line between, well, amateurs and pros.
A very stark contrast.
Yeah. On one side, you've got the amateurs. They're running on hustle and hope, as the sources say. Passionate, maybe, but reactive, disorganized, posting when they remember, following up when they have time, maybe panicking when things get slow. And then they wonder why their results are all over the place, right?
Yeah.
Why it feels like feast or famine.
That constant chasing cycle.
Exactly. Then on the other side, you have the professionals. And they get it. They understand credibility comes from reliability, period. Their prospects, their audience, they can count on them for the valuable content, the consistent communication, the follow-through. Not because they feel like it, but because it's baked into how they operate. It's systemic.
It is. The sources really drive this home. Professional credibility doesn't just magically appear. It requires professional systems. Think about the most successful people you know in your field. Consultants, service providers, whatever. They have common traits, right? And it's not luck. It's by design.
What are those common traits, distilled down?
1, they show up consistently, maybe daily, maybe weekly, but predictably. 2, they follow proven processes for everything important. Client intake, service delivery, marketing,
Right.
quality control. 3, because of 1 and 2, they deliver predictable results. Clients know what they're getting.
Consistency, process, predictability.
That's the trifecta. It's deliberate. These pros understand their brand, their reputation. It's only as solid as the systems underneath, which means that sporadic posting, inconsistent follow-up, it doesn't just not help, it actively hurts. It signals chaos, unreliability.
Undermines the very trust you're trying to build.
Absolutely. So when that ideal client is finally ready, when their pain is peaking and they need certainty, who do they pick? Not the person who might show up.
They choose the one who's always been there, reliably adding value. The sure thing.
They choose certainty. They choose the professional who demonstrated reliability through that consistent, valuable engagement over time. Trust wins when stakes are high.
So, wrapping this all up for everyone listening, what does this actually mean for your business day to day?
Yeah, the practical takeaway.
It means the old ways just aren't enough. You can't just flick on some ads when you need clients and hope you catch someone at the right second. You can't just post randomly on social media when you remember and expect magic. You can't just email people only when you want to sell them something.
That's the hustle and hope roller coaster. Leads to burnout.
Totally. So the mandate, really, from these sources, it's demanding, yeah, but also kind of freeing. You need to be building trust and staying top of mind consistently, day in, day out, week after week.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. So you're perfectly positioned, like that trusted, helping hand precisely when your ideal prospect's pain peaks and they desperately need someone. The sources even give a little nod to what happens next, hinting that once you are there at the right moment, speed becomes critical too. But maybe that's a deep dive for another day, digging into those next stages.
Could be. The follow-through matters immensely too.
Definitely. So, okay, let's recap the big takeaways. We've seen professional credibility isn't just fuzziness. It's built on solid systems and consistent reliability. Understanding the buyer's tipping point. That means realizing people buy when pain peaks, and they choose whoever is top of mind and already trusted. And in today's crazy attention economy, you can't buy attention anymore. You have to earn it strategically, consistently, through real value. So what it boils down to for you, showing up reliably isn't just nice to have. It's not just a good idea. It's the core strategy. It's essential for earning trust and becoming that obvious choice when it matters most.
It really shifts the focus, doesn't it? Which leads me to a final thought, maybe a question for everyone listening to mull over. Given everything we've talked about, the distractions, the information overload, how might you rethink your own consistent presence? Not just in business, maybe, but in any area where you want to be seen as a truly trusted resource.
Interesting extension.
Yeah, it could be your professional field, sure, but maybe a community role you have, or even just within your family or friend group. What in a small, specific systems could you realistically put in place, maybe starting this week, to make sure you're reliably there? Consistently providing value, building that trust capital long before anyone explicitly asks or is even ready to make a decision involving you. Because ultimately, it seems like it's those quiet, consistent efforts that build the foundation for really impactful results down the line.
Ready to take your online business to the next level? Subscribe to our digital marketing podcast and then join our Accountability for Success Mastermind. With expert advice from industry leaders, you'll gain knowledge and insights that will help you succeed in today's digital marketing world. From social media strategies to search engine optimization, we have all the tools you need. Learn from successful entrepreneurs and take control of your online success. Join the Accountability for Success Mastermind now at bit.ly/AFSM podcast.